Welcome to Ask Win, everyone. Today I have Steve with me, and I'm going to let Steve take it away and share his story, and then we'll see how it goes.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Win. My name is Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, an international best-selling author of 20 books and counting. But more than that, I run a marketing company and we have the privilege of working with people everywhere in the process from concept to writing to publishing, marketing their books to bestseller, as well as beyond that. I've worked with thousands of individuals. And the cool part about that is the millions of people that their books have reached. I've been a small piece of that. I really love helping share people with the world and showing each and every one of them what is uniquely brilliant and cool about what they do in the world. And I'm
Yeah.
so honored and privileged to be here with you and looking forward to the discussion.
Well, I am curious, what made you get into the self-publishing industry? Because the reason why I asked that is because so many people, including myself, say that I'm a self-published author, but what made you get into the marketing industry and specifically touching on authors?
Absolutely. I've been in sales literally my whole life. I started selling at 5 years old, had sales jobs all through high school and college, started the marketing company in 1988. We joined in to internet space, even actually before we called it the internet, and have been in that space. And then in 2007, actually, the lady I was then married to and my second youngest daughter wrote a book based off of their travels. They were traveling around going to the filming sites for the movie Twilight. And they wrote blogs about it, and I helped them turn that into a book. And at one point, it was actually the best selling movie related travel guide on Amazon. And from there, I just began to integrate in the use of books and how powerful they were as marketing for people. And I'm hooked. And of course, I've written probably 150 songs myself, as well as all the books I've written. So I love writing and creating.
Yeah, yeah, but basically, people understand what a book is. They they and I say this, they understand more of what a hardcover book is. But when you think about it, so many people don't understand that you could play a book on the smart speakers, Google Smart Speaker, Amazon Smart Speaker, and so many
Mhm.
people don't understand that you can get knowledge from a podcast too, and yet the book industry is going with the economic times. I mean, people are not picking up, they are picking up Amazon more than they're picking up the local bookstores, but books. But I I applaud you for sticking with it as for as long as you have, because book publishing can be a great industry. At the same time, it can't.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And so, what would you mention to those new authors that are coming out and want to write a book in 2023? Where would you start?
Well, the first thing I would tell them is more words doesn't make it a better book. It just makes it a bigger book.
Yeah.
Um, in point of fact, almost all of us, myself included, when we really sit down to write a book, we end up writing an entire book series. Smaller books are really what people want. Amazon statistically has shown that if a book is 100 print pages or less, more than 60% of the people that get the book will read and finish it. That goes between 101 and 200 pages, that drops to about 20%. And if your book goes over 200 pages, it's less than 3% of the people that ever even finish the book. So it's really about taking a point, making it really clear and giving the person a clear action or a clear ending on that book versus trying to just hit a word count or make your book 350 pages, because the traditional publishers in the mid 1800s convinced people that all books should be 350 pages long.
Yeah. And so, and my advice would be write something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be a long slog, people. It's going to be a long slog if you're not passionate
Yeah,
about the subject that you're
absolutely.
writing. And so, to live, if you had to walk in someone else's shoes, where, how would you do it for one day? Is it an author you want to walk in, or is it someone else's shoes outside the author field that you want to walk in?
Well, he is an author. He's my favorite author by far. And the person I would really want to would be C.S. Lewis. Um, Not only is he an amazing person, but I've always wondered what the uh, the difference between the creative side of him and some of the amazing stories he wrote versus the being, because he was a Cambridge professor. So how did he cross that gap and be so connecting and easy to read when he wrote, and yet be at that highest level of academics at the same time? I'd love to be able to really understand that from inside out with him.
And also, do you think the academics of book writing, I'll phrase it this way, do you think the academics of book writing are dying out? Do you think the library, the kids going to the library, is dying on?
Oh man, I hope not. I mean, I do know that it's about 30% that get the book in print, 30% that get it, or a third that get it in ebook form, and a third that get it on audio. But I loved when my kids were little, taking them every week to the library, and I hope we never take that away from our kids. There's just a cool experience about having a book and holding it in your hand and discovering a new author that you've never heard of.
Yeah, yeah, and some libraries are absolutely gorgeous. They're absolutely
Mhm.
gorgeous, but others need help. But that's
Mhm.
okay. That's okay. We're trying, but I also think going to library is not a dying art. I need to get my Phoenix library going to people. It's almost been 2 years,
Mhm.
and I need to because what a lot of the libraries are doing now is they're doing, well, especially since COVID, they're doing digital stuff. Even before COVID, they were doing digital stuff, and so having access to a library book digitally is better than nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I was so excited with the new place that I moved to. I did all of my new headshots and business photos outside and inside of the library that's here in the town near me.
How cool!
Yeah.
How cool! Because how cool! And that is a cool way to do it. That to that's a cool way to do it. How to really express your business and what you do,
Right.
self-publishing. And so, who is the favorite author that you have worked with, and then who is the least favorite author that you have worked with?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. There's so many great ones that I've worked with. I was really privileged to work with a gentleman whose name is Errol Abramson. Unfortunately, he passed away about a year and a half ago now, but Errol was a multi-billionaire. He had started 47 different companies, one at a time, and every single one of them he had succeeded at. He had taken them to the end and sold them for anywhere between $1 million and $10 billion, depending on each one of those companies. He had 47 successes with no failures. And his book was literally just, hey, I was a street kid eating out of the dumpsters at 15, and I made it to being a multi-billionaire. You can do it too. And such a privilege. And he kind of took me under his wing, and it was just really neat to, get to have that personal one-on-one time with, with somebody at that extremely high of a level was really cool. Um, Worst author, that's a tough one because I love my authors all so much, but um, I think it's really the times. I won't pick out anybody individually, but I will say
Yeah.
this. It's the times when a person will not allow themselves to just be themselves, where they have to try to be, for example, Tony Robbins or Oprah Winfrey or something
Yeah.
like that, versus just being whomever they are. And that's the worst thing to deal with. And I love when I'm able to, not always able to, but I love when I'm able to give them permission to just be themselves.
So you're basically saying don't fake a persona, be you.
Yes.
Basically, there's only one of you,
Mhm.
and be you and do what you're passionate about. And
Yes.
by the way, you guys can find, I hate to do this, but you guys can find my work all over the place on Amazon. I'm actually a 11-time published author, and I'm considering working on my 12th book. And it's going to be interesting because um, in this move, I have done a lot of podcasting work, and in this move, I have done a lot of reflecting on why I moved. And so I now think it's time to share my secrets about the podcasting industry
Mhm.
because people ask me all the time, how? How do you do it with a physical disability? And so my 11 books are all scattered all over the place on Amazon. But if you type in my name, Win, W-I-N, Charles, Charles, you can find them, and you can find, I wrote my original autobiography at the age of 23. Yes, people thought I was crazy um, to do that, but it became number one, and it stayed there for a little while. But becoming number one is not the big thing. It's um, how many people are you going to impact? It's how many, who's going to pick up your book, who's going to read, who's going to learn about you, or who's going to learn about caterpillar tractors, or who's going to learn about what you are passionate about.
Absolutely.
And so basically, how I do it, and there's so many different ways to do it, you guys. I use speech dictation, and trust me, that is a trick and a half. And now speech dictation has gotten better over the years,
Mhm.
but it took me a good solid year to write my original book because I did a speech dictation and I got it edited, and then I self-published it. But there's so many different ways to do it, from ghost writing to speech dictation to every which way, that I don't think Steve could recommend one way over the other, because to each their own on writing books, and to each their own on how they want to publish it.
Well, I do most definitely encourage a person to do speaking to write versus
Yeah,
writing. The biggest difference between it, with all the other things in mind, is that when we speak, we're thinking about the person we're speaking to, versus when we write, we're really kind of internal. That's why journaling works so well therapeutically, but it doesn't necessarily create a reader centric book as much when you're just writing it out
yeah,
versus when you're speaking it out.
yeah. I didn't know that because when you are speaking it out, you are in the flow of um, consciousness. So then you have, at least I am. I admit I'm terrible at the periods and the comments and speaking it out. I'm just trying to get it out on paper
Mhm.
versus writing it out. And so, yeah. And then what is going to be your best advice for a person? And I know you asked me this question as we wrap up. What is going to be your best advice for a person that said, I can't write a book, I don't have time. I don't have time in the day to sit down and write a book.
And that again goes back to what we were just saying. That has to do with really doing the speaking to write. Even better yet, have somebody like myself or somebody else that's good at it, have them interview you. Just like what we're doing here on the podcast.
Yeah.
As a podcaster, it's so good because the person can just ask you insightful, interesting questions about you or the topic you want your book to be about. And then, content development editors and people that do that can come in and take all of that. But that's the best way to really just get beyond the whole, what should I write? Is this the right place for a period and all of that? And just have somebody just get in a conversation with you and really help you through that conversation from beginning to end and teach somebody something.
Teach them on something on 11.
Yeah.
So, as we wrap this interview up, where can the people find you and where can people get a hold of you if they choose to do so?
So the easiest thing, I'm going to give your listeners actually a free gift just for having been here. If they go to ongoingwealthguide.com, that's ongoingwealthguide.com. If you go to ongoingwealthguide.com, I have a 5-piece little thing that I put together for people to learn how to really generate abundance in their life and how to have that be something that is a normal and natural part of their life. Included in that is my free workshop, Write Your Bestseller in 1 hour. You could actually also add on an ebook copy of my book if you want to add that on to it. But if you just go to ongoingwealthguide.com, I'd love to continue the conversation with you. And I've even got a special treat at the end of that. I'm offering 15 free minutes to talk to me and see how I can help you out to your listeners.
Well, I appreciate that. We appreciate that because um those who may want to set up for 2023 to write a book, and I'm happy to do it myself. You guys too. I'm happy to sit and talk to you about how I did it. And so it's interesting because a lot of people thought I was crazy when I wrote the original book, and I still think I'm crazy because they still can't believe that I'm a 11 times published author with a physical disability. And so to wrap this interview up, do you have any questions for me? I know you do because I got it previously.
Well, I mean, more than anything else, I guess the question I would ask you is, if you could only tell a person one thing, if you only had 5 minutes with them, what would be that one thing that you want to make sure that they know?
Oh, geez, you put me on the spot. That people with physical disabilities give a lot of love. They may not say a lot due to their physical disability. They may not interact a lot with who's ever with them. Some do, some don't, depending on their physical disability. But love is a language that people can understand no matter if they don't speak American Sign Language or if they don't speak assistive device, which a lot of people use. And so love is a human language that people universally could speak. And if you really want to get to a person's heart, just love them for who they are. And love is a universal language, and that's all I'll say in the 5 minutes. Love is a universal language.
The other question, and I apologize because I know this isn't one of the two that I put in when we were
Yeah,
originally doing it,
yeah.
but I was thinking about this listening to some of your other podcasts. Share with us the secret for, well, at least joy. In other words, being in a good place through things. I mean, you go through a lot of stuff that many of us don't deal with, and yet you're a genuinely happy, upbeat person. What's your secret?
What's my secret? What's my secret? I have no secrets. My secret is to take the toxicity out of my life, take the negative Nancy's out of my life, and just hang out with the people who truly let me be me. And on my bad days, they pick me up off the ground. And
Mm.
so, the secret to having joy in my life is try not to deal with the negativity, try not to deal with the woe is me, try not to deal with the negativity, and try to take the toxicity out of my life to the best of my abilities.
Of that.
So again, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous interview. I certainly did. And if you guys want more information, we'll have more information in the show notes. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous interview. I will catch you guys again next time, and I hope that you guys enjoyed another fabulous interview and at least picked up some knowledge about the self-publishing industry and how to do it correctly. And I hope you guys have a lovely day and a lovely start to 2023. Thanks, you guys. Bye, you guys.